should do like a song intro, like a quartet, barbershop quartet.
Welcome to the Up Real Late podcast.
Welcome
to the Up Real Late podcast.
I actually didn't mind that.
Sounded pretty fucking good.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Up Real Late podcast. We are on episode 10. Wow, guys, we finally made it to episode 10. 10 weeks in. This is pretty exciting.
This is a milestone right here.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
We're going to get shirts made.
We should.
Why have we not done that yet?
Perfect 10.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Miles Tellerstone, am I right?
My name is Scott Ellis.
Tim laughed.
I'm joined here by three other gentlemen. Firstly being Tim McGavick. How you doing, Tim?
It's a lovely day to be recording a podcast.
Oh, okay. What a lovely day indeed.
What a lovely day it is.
Here we go.
Also here, Tyler Switolski.
I can't follow that. No.
It's tough.
I will let you guys know, though, I did just come back from LA again. I was consulting with James Gunn. I am actually now Chris Pratt's stand-in.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure.
Replacement or just stand-in?
Yeah, they wanted someone who was less attractive and skinnier. Right. And they're like, we need Tyler Switolski.
There you go. And rounding out our four is Adam Franey.
Wolfman himself.
Yes.
Yes,
he's just cringing right now.
Tim's alluding to my grizzly beard. Thanks, Tim. I just want to have a redder beard than you one day, bud.
It's not going to happen.
I know it's not.
It's going to be tough.
It's on!
Let's just run down a couple of topics we're going to talk about today. As usual, we're going to talk about our last seen movie. And we're also going to talk about a movie that didn't come out this week as a movie release, but did come out as a Blu-ray release, and that is Mad Max Fury Road.
Vroom, vroom.
So we're going to do a little review of that later. And we're also going to talk about a couple news topics this week, mostly trailers that came out. Firstly being The Danish Girl, Eddie Redmayne, maybe it's Oscar bait, we'll see, and Concussion starring Will Smith, and Beasts of No Nation also starring Idris Elba. So we're going to talk some trailers later, but let's jump into our last scene. Anyone want to start us off this week? Adam, want to start with you? Or
I really want to know what you saw.
Yeah. He's been teasing us for a little bit.
Yeah. All night with us.
I've been teasing up in the pre-recording sesh.
Just
phone's charging.
Getting back into the memory banks as usual.
Yeah. My phone's charging has nothing. It's irrelevant because
the man doesn't own a pencil, so he just doesn't write anything down.
Straight to memory.
It's all memory.
So Adam,
jogging the banks, memory banks, jogging. Okay, I'm jogged. Here we go. The movie I watched this week. Now, if you don't know it, be honest here, boys.
Hit us.
Young Ones.
Never heard of it.
Not ringing a bell.
Tim?
Name, I do know the name, yeah.
Fucking
so you were right on it, actually, yes.
I should have bet you so I could have won your money, ladies. Set in the future, when water is extremely hard to find, a teenage boy sets out to protect his family and survive. Yeah, it stars Michael Shannon.
Cody Smith McPhee?
Cody Smith McPhee.
Oh, I have heard of this actually.
It stars Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah, no, I have.
Oh,
Ty's tie-ins.
I feel a Ty's tie-in coming.
Ooh.
It also stars Elle Fanning or Eel?
Elle Fanning.
Elle Fanning.
Eel.
Is that L.A. Fanning?
I thought it was Elle Fanning.
Seal Fanning.
So that's a big cast for me. That's three up and coming like young stars and a character actor, veteran actor that I am in love with. I know Tim is, right?
Yeah.
Tim?
Michael Shannon.
Well, my favorite, I say Michael Shannon role has got to be when he played that tiny cast in Kangaroo Jack.
Oh gosh.
That was the perfect casting in my opinion.
Wow. It's been a while since I've seen Kangaroo Jack.
It's a good one. You should check it out.
I remember seeing it in theaters.
That's it. It's like 10 minutes in the movie and that's it.
So written and directed by Jake Paltrow. I believe he did another Michael Shannon flick, Shotgun Stories, is it? You guys familiar with this?
No.
I know Anderson from Film Vault likes it a lot. I believe that's the name. I could be butchering the name. But he only has one other film to his resume. And let me tell ya, this flick is mediocre.
Wow, I thought
you really built that.
I thought you were ramping that up for something crazy there for a second.
I don't know what you're talking about. So like I said, for a small indie, I'm pretty impressed that they were able to net such a cast. Because that's 3 huge stars. I guess.
And that came out last year.
Yes, this was.
Wow.
Yeah, Netflix. I watched on Netflix. They had it at 2014.
Okay. So
first things first. Right off the bat, I don't even have the words. It's got a stunning look to it. It's filmed one of the most unique filming techniques I've ever seen. Like, the directing's really interesting. I don't, like...
You gotta see it to believe it, I guess?
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
I don't even know how to describe it. You know, we were talking earlier, Scott, about Mad Max. You said there was someone put together a cut of all the zoom in and zoom outs.
Yeah.
They have that almost every scene in this. It starts off with a face and then zooms out to show like the rest of the environment.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, this director, he has a lot of potential. Like, the movie's not fantastic, but just what he brought with his directing chops was like pretty impressive. The visual side was impressive. There's also a lot of like quick smash cuts, like the Edgar Wright movies. You know, those like snap cuts.
Oh yeah,
snappy.
Someone's suiting up or whatever.
Huge fan. Closing a fridge.
Like,
yeah,
like
exactly.
really quick cuts of like someone like doing their cufflinks, zoom in on like fixing their tie and like
yeah,
like that kind of stuff.
But it was almost overload. Like, it was almost tonally kept shifting.
Who was the director on this? Has he done much before this?
No, he only has, I believe, the one movie, again, with Michael Shannon.
Influenced by some other directors and kind of trying out some techniques.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I was going to say, like, it's one of those things where you're like, okay, I see what he's doing there. I see who he got that
I see where
from.
he got that, yeah.
I see where he got that. Have you guys seen a movie like that? Like, where you just, like, this feels like pulled from so many different things, but it doesn't stand on its own, you know?
Mm-hmm.
This is what this felt like. It was kind of like a melding pot of a lot of different movies, but it didn't stand on its own 2 feet.
Like, not like an original thought. It was just kind of pulled from everything.
Yeah, there's almost no plot. You know, Cody Smith McPhee is kind of wandering the desert with his father, played by Michael Shannon, and they're looking for water. Water's like the currency, basically, in this. And, yeah, they're just wandering, and then they come across Nicholas Hoult, and I don't want to give anything away in case you want to see it, but things go sour between them. There's some double crossing. It's an okay little plot. Like I said, okay little movie. Should have been better. Like, it reminded me of Fantastic Four in the sense of missed potential.
Okay.
When you've got a cast like this.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
You know what I mean? I know the director's unknown, but this cast alone and like the visuals, like the trailer is pretty impressive.
Okay.
But
you think it was the directing that kind of led to it being mediocre, or
well, he also
the inexperience?
wrote. I think it's the writing.
Okay.
It's like visually, this guy has some tricks up his sleeve. It's pretty impressive. Like, there's some Terrence Malick-esque shots.
Okay.
And that kind of led to the problem. Like, it's like part of it's a Terrence Malick movie, part of it's J.J. Abrams with the lens flares.
The Edgar Wright cuts. And
the Edgar Wright smash cuts. It's like he just like reached into a hat and pulled out, oh, we got the J.J. flares, we got the Malick, like, landscape shots.
And...
Yeah. Okay. And just, I don't know, the writing was very lazy. Some of the lines are very, like, under-delivered. Just Cody Smith McPhee has that awkward delivery.
Yeah.
And, like, even Nicholas Hoult, who I was liking in this movie, has some pretty brutal line delivery.
Cringeworthy lines?
Pretty cringeworthy. That's the perfect word for it, actually. And, like, the overall message that, like, water's important, we can't waste it. Like, water's so important. Like,
a little bit too...
Save Earth. Just beat me over the head, black and blue. But, yeah, I don't know. I thought this got atrocious reviews. I wouldn't say it's like one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but it's just...
Missed potential.
Didn't enjoy it.
Like you said.
Exactly. Yeah. I should have enjoyed it more. Honestly, the best part of the movie, they call it a donkey, they refer to it as. Like, Michael Shannon gets this thing they call, like, their, I guess, future dystopian version of a donkey. Mm-hmm. It's actually, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, it's that robotic dog thing. I think it's called Big Dog. This company makes them. They're designing it for the military.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Boston Dynamics or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
They are developing it.
And if you, like, kick it, it'll, like, rebalance itself.
Yeah.
And it, like, it's really creepy. It's like,
oh, that's terrifying.
They used that
everywhere.
They used that in this movie. So it's 100% practical. And that was my favorite part of the whole movie.
That's pretty awesome. Did it have a personality and everything?
Kind of. They're like walking it through the desert.
Did they kick it at least once?
Nicholas Hoult gets mad and kicks it, and they show off the like balancing technology.
So Boston Dynamics probably had a little sponsorship there.
They must have.
Yeah.
They must have.
For sure. They're like, let's get Big Dog.
But hey, kudos, stole the movie for me.
That's hilarious.
Like Michael Shannon's like walking this thing around the desert, basically on a leash, and it's carrying his cargo. And the whole time I'm just like amazed, like, oh my god,
This thing's real.
this thing is real. They should use it in Star Wars. And then
it's not a bad idea.
when Nicholas Hoult kicks it, I was like, oh shit, I saw that on YouTube. It's gonna rebalance. And then it's like, it was great. But
I almost feel bad for it when they kick it. I'm like,
I know it's creepy. It's Uncanny Valley or something. It's like creepy. I'm like,
weird.
oh god.
I feel bad. It's like is that animal abuse? If it's
Oh god,
robotic abuse.
robot abuse.
But
Let's get to the chase, though.
So overall, Young Ones, disappointing for sure. Missed potential, but the director Jake Paltrow, he has some potential. I think he could go on to do so. I could see like people looking back and be like, "Oh, he did that movie? Yeah, I could." That makes sense. I could see him going on to do something impressive.
Maybe to find his niche, what his own style, something like that.
Yeah, I would say maybe get away from writing and direct someone else's script.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know what the answer is, but overall...
Just do better.
Do better. I'll have to give it a light 3. No, heavy 2. We'll go with heavy 2 reels.
Heavy 2, okay. Middle of the road.
Very middle of the road, yeah. Borderline bad.
Okay.
But just flatline.
Tyler, I see you kind of itching.
I am. I'm going
to jump in with your last scene.
Yes.
What was the last movie you saw?
This is a movie I should have seen a long time ago. Well,
that's most of them.
Like most of the movies that are on my list.
Any movie?
I watched the 1969 The Italian Job.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I watched this movie. I watched the remake right when it came out and loved it. I knew there was a remake.
Hit when it came out.
Oh, it was huge, and like I loved it so much. I watched like every day for like a month. Now I'm like, all right, now I'm kind of sick of it. But I should have watched the original so long ago. Finally got around to it. I loved it. It was. I can see why it was such like a classic that they could warrant doing a remake. It was perfect.
I haven't seen the original.
No?
So sell me on it.
Yeah, it was okay. It was all right. It was nothing.
It doesn't sound like you liked it.
Did they have
Nothing
minis?
special.
They must have had minis.
Of course they had minis.
Of course they had
Like
minis.
It was amazing and everything. So directed by Peter Collinson, starring Michael Caine, Noel Coward, Benny Hill, and Margaret Bly. I believe her name is Blye. Bly. It's Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. That's my impression of Kevin Spacey doing Michael Caine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
nice.
It's Michael Caine.
That's niche. That's niche right there.
Yes. I'm not sure if we should do a Tim's Bits later where he does an impression of...
I can do an impression of your impression.
Okay, you do my impression of Kevin Spacey doing Michael Caine.
Yeah.
We'll save that for later.
Save it for later.
So, synopsis. A British crook robs gold ingots from Italy by...
Ingots.
What did I say?
Ingots.
It's the same thing, Scott.
It's not the bank from Harry Potter.
Don't.
It's the Gringotts Bank.
Anyway...
Or is it?
Did they rob Gringotts?
Did you see Deathly Hallows Part 1?
Okay, I watched that again. Okay,
You
I'm
watched
sorry.
Deathly Hallows Part 1, didn't you?
I watched all of them again.
All right, I'll let you finish.
Okay, so a British crook robs Gringotts in Italy by having a computer expert cause a traffic jam. I gotta say, I love the way that there was such a huge gap between the original and the remake, so they were able to take like classic scenes from the original and just completely modernize them.
Yeah.
Like all like the traffic control, like the entire traffic control center.
That was in the original still?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Scott, you gotta watch this because I don't want to kill it for you.
I haven't seen the original either.
Tim, tell me
I'd
you've
love
seen it,
to
please.
see it.
No.
Okay, so you're telling me that I have
Holy
seen a movie
shit.
that the rest of the podcast has not.
Episode 10, we've hit 2 milestones tonight.
That's amazing.
This is a classic, and I can't believe
Circle your calendar, folks.
This is it.
It's a big date.
Oh my god, this
This
is
is
like
huge.
2 centuries from now. They're going to circle this down the calendar like, this is the day the world's going to end. This is it. This was huge back.
Tulski saw a movie the others haven't seen.
So it was like the minis again. Like they were like such a classic car in the movie. They were able to totally modernize it, but still keep the look of the minis. It was great. I can't believe you guys haven't seen this.
We haven't.
I've seen the remake. It's Bizarro World.
This is so weird. Yeah, okay, Tyler.
It's opposite
Now
day.
you know how we feel.
It's opposite day.
This is oddly unsettling, guys.
This is weird.
Like, I have to talk about stuff that you guys have no idea now.
I haven't seen either version.
What?
I've been on the ride at Paramount. That counts, right?
That does not
so
count.
you've basically seen it.
I've basically seen it, yeah.
I've been to the ride at Canada's Wonderland. You pretty much seen the movie.
No,
I don't know how I
not
feel
quite.
about this.
Can I just ask a
Yeah.
question, Tyler, or anyone? Didn't our last movie we reviewed, is it the same director as the remake of Italian Job? Gary
Yes,
Gray?
F. Gary Gray.
Yes.
He did the...
Gary F. Gray?
F. Gary Gray.
F.
You got it
Gary
right
Gray.
first time.
F. Gary.
You got it. Yeah.
All right,
F.
whatever.
Gary Gray.
That
Yeah.
guy.
Ties
So-
tie-ins right there.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Beautiful time.
Yeah, he directed
Good
the
job.
remake of our last movie we saw.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
was wondering.
It was, like, right off the bat when you saw this, like, probably about 10, 15 minutes into the movie, it had a very, it had a very Bond-esque feel to it. Just because of its timing.
Well, me and Scott recently watched Get Carter with Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Mike-
You gotta say
Caine.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Right, sorry. We recently watched Get Carter.
Say it properly, don't say it at all.
I feel
That
like,
had a Bond-esque kind of...
yeah, he was kind of doing his
Well-
own, like, semi-side Bond
It was kind of
impression
like a
back then.
goofy
He was doing
kind
a
of
Liam
Bond
Neeson
thing.
and Taken impression, let's be honest.
Yeah, 40 years prior.
Yeah.
And then he goes, like, as soon as he, like, you get that kind of feeling, he goes and picks up his car that's been an impound forever, and it's an Aston Martin DB4, so it's, like, perfect.
It's weird. I feel like he wanted to be Bond back then.
I can't remember if he screened. I think his name was tied to Bond somehow. I can't.
He's doing all these Bond adjacent
I don't know.
movies.
It's possible.
It's like the Bourne. Is this like the Bourne series? So like that
Yeah.
back then?
Yeah.
Like,
Is he the Matt Damon to who was Bond at that time? Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
yeah.
So he's the Matt Damon to Sean Connery's Tom Cruise, or like what?
I'm confused now.
Oh, you've officially lost me.
Went down the rabbit hole of spy
A lot
espionage.
of, even though like it was a remake, the new, there was a lot of very different, like a lot of huge differences between the two.
Yeah.
Like especially in the first one, like,
Okay.
he has like a team of like 15 goofy robbers.
15?
Yeah, 15.
15?
Yeah,
It was like 5 or 6.
So
in
he
the
has an
remake.
army.
Yeah, and no, in the remake there was 5,
5. Okay. 5.
and they were all like specialists.
Yeah.
So this is like there were like huge
like-
differences.
Ed Norton. I'm trying to remember who else was in it.
Ed
Norton's the
Norton,
villain?
Jason Statham, Mos Def,
Statham. Yeah.
Seth Green, Charlize Theron, and Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, Theron was the
Yeah.
the safe cracker.
And then later on, what's his
Ties,
face?
tie-ins.
Comes back together. I love it. And the Bridger Croker relationship that like they had in like the remake was like he was like his mentor.
Mm-hmm.
He was like in the original he was like
Was that John Voight and
Donald Sutherland.
oh, it was Sutherland.
Yeah, Donald
John
Sutherland, Mark
John
Wahlberg
Voight.
relationship, and this one it was
What's Donald Sutherland?
he wasn't even his mentor. He was like a financial back. Like he wasn't. He really didn't have anything to really do with the team. It wasn't. I didn't like that part of it.
Oh, I was thinking of Heat.
Yes.
John Voight. Yeah, similar.
Wow.
But
But yeah, other than that, like I loved it.
Really?
I thought it was a really. I'm giving it a high 4.
Whoa.
High 4 reels.
Worth a watch.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
God
worth a watch.
damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely need to get around to
You
watching
do.
that.
You
the
all
original.
need to get around and watching this
Yeah,
because
we seriously haven't been doing our homework
Do
clearly.
we have to add it to a list? Is that what we do? Tyler, that's what we do when we go and see movies.
that's it. Yeah, if you guys have like
We
this
got
Should
is,
we write down our list?
everyone
of
get out paper and write down the Italian Job 1969
mental
on it.
notes.
Yeah.
Boop, logged it.
Seriously.
And that's it. That's all you have to do. Just that one.
What
But
year?
yeah, 1969.
69. Okay.
Yeah.
Tim, you want to jump in with your last scene?
Sure, buddy. My last scene
Get hype.
is titled Resurrect Dead, The Mystery of the Toynbee Tiles. This is a 2011 film directed by John Foy. Anyone
Huh?
know it?
Yeah, I was gonna say
John Voight?
John Voight.
John Foy.
Oh.
Foy.
sorry.
F-O-Y.
If it's not
No.
John Voight,
Anyone
wake
know
me
it?
up when it's over.
Yeah.
Basically,
This is not ringing a
it's
bell.
a documentary that focuses on 3 self-proclaimed detectives as they attempt to unearth the origin and meaning of the Toynbee tiles, which are a collection of hundreds of tiles found embedded in the asphalt in dozens of cities across the eastern coast of the U.S. and South America, all bearing the same bizarre phrase, Toynbee idea, in movie 2001, Resurrect Dead on planet Jupiter. So basically,
What?
yeah, so basically there's like these plaques that have been embedded into asphalt in the middle of streets that have this weird saying on it, along with other sayings, like little messages at the bottom.
Weird, like Zeitgeist, just like
Yeah,
random. Like...
so they're unraveling like who's putting it here. Is it more than one person? Is it a group of people? Is it associated with some sort of group? The movie's,
Illuminati.
exactly.
Like,
The movie's like pretty low budget. The three detectives are like just one of them is like a dropout from high school. He just like was living in like a
Internet
rented
detective.
house that he wasn't even paying for and stuff. So it kind of follows their story on how they kind of it's just like how they just ran into the tiles and then followed them, how they like followed different
leads
and stuff. They're like there's newspaper articles. One of the plaques has an address that leads back to a place in Philadelphia. It's just like a bizarre story that happened.
It sounds so random. Like...
It's random. I tried watching it a few weeks ago, but the stream that I was watching, the audio was out of sync, so I couldn't watch it. It's finally up on Netflix.
Okay.
Netflix predicted I would like it like 4.5 out of 5. Pretty accurate.
Really?
This is
Really?
a mid 4 out of 5 reels for Tim.
Wow. Okay.
I don't want to say too much more because it's a pretty good mystery. Like it's
I kind of want to know
back
now.
on
Like,
itself, and it kind of delves into not only the mystery of the tiles, but also the main guy Justin, who's like the main detective, kind of his obsession with it, and
probably a character study too. Of like,
That's
what
also
makes
like,
these people so interested in?
And this is like decades old. Like these tiles have been popping up since like the early 80s.
I feel like that's the best thing about a documentary, when like there's a mystery, but then it kind of flips. Yeah. And you're really delving into the mystery of like this Justin guy sort of thing. Like like you said, you want to know why he's so interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of makes me think of, I don't know if you guys have seen Extra Through the Gift Shop, that Banksy movie. Mm-hmm. You have it. So that movie, like, it was supposed to be it is about Banksy, but then there's this certain guy who you wonder, like, is he a character?
Why
like,
is he doing all of this?
Is the documentary really about him?
Yeah.
Or is it about Banksy?
Yeah.
You know?
It's same with the documentary Capturing the Freedmans, which is set out to just document like this family of like clowns, like they're all like clowns, and then it ends up being like this kind of story about pedophilia stuff going on, which got like found out while he was making the documentary. So I love documentaries that do that. Like they set out to do one thing, and then there's
they find out something else completely different.
Yeah, that's
the story with Justin isn't like fully in there. Like it doesn't like transfer over to being about him, but it does touch on like his obsession, kind of his character. His brother and friends talk about him and stuff. It's
kind of makes me think of like National Treasure or something, like finding these like tiles.
Yeah, it's such an odd thing.
Well, I have to ask. I'm sorry, guys. I have to ask. Was your interest in this movie because you do work in the flooring department of the store?
I was like tiles,
tiling.
I'm in.
Is that
no? This was mentioned on the Film Vault. Anderson and Brian both loved it. I've been like trying to find it since they mentioned it like a year ago.
Yes, but
at least
you heard the word tile and you were all in.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Much like your job. Yeah. Just like that.
Awesome. Exactly. I'm definitely intrigued.
It's interesting. Check it out.
Interested for sure.
What was the name again?
Resurrect Dead: The Mystery of the Toynbee Tiles, and Toynbee is Toynbee tiles.
I'll get that from you after. I'll get you to write it down.
We'll have the title on there.
I'm gonna write that down.
Write the image for you guys in the pod listening.
Yes, exactly, and watching.
I'm gonna jump in with my last scene. Finish up this. A little bit of tie-in here. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
He saw it.
Is the last movie I saw. Directed by Thomas Alfredson, starring, among others, Gary Oldman, Colin Firth, John Hurt, Toby Jones, Mark Strong, Kieran Hines, Benedict Cumberbatch. who I didn't even know who was in
You're going to give
this.
Switty a heart attack. Jesus Christ. Go slower.
Finish it off with Bill Nighy. Finish it off.
Finish it. He isn't. But the one guy who I had no idea was in this, Tom Hardy, is in this.
Really?
Yes. I did not know Tom Hardy was in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
I'm just going to write that down.
Wow. This movie released September 16th, 2011. So 4 years old. Set in London in the early 1970s. The story follows the hunt for a Soviet double agent at the top of the British Secret Service, MI6. And Gary Oldman, who stars in this film, he is the agent who... He started out... I think he lost his job at MI6, and then he came back basically to find this double agent. And wow. I love this movie. I gotta say. It is awesome. The cinematography, the muted color palette that they used.
It's muted.
It is. And you know what? Tie into Get Carter, which we just mentioned.
Right.
That movie came out the same year that this movie was set in. 1973. And when I watched Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, it just reminded me right away of the kind of that look of Get Carter. Just the early 70s... You know, all the cars and the setting, you know, in England and in London. And
it's shot by one of our boys.
Hoyt van Hoytma.
A man who's becoming our boy, maybe. Maybe the New Deacons, perhaps?
Definitely known for shooting some awesome films.
We love us some Hope Van Hoyt.
Hoyt van Hoytma.
Hoyt van Hoyt?
Hoyt.
What is his name?
Hoyt van Hoytma.
Hoyt? Yeah, Hoyt.
Definitely a tongue twister.
I bet that
I love
was a
Hoyt.
bitch growing up.
But yeah, this cast is pretty amazing. I loved everyone in this. Mark Strong was good with a little bit more of a head of hair on him than usual.
Oh.
Tom Hardy too had some good flow.
He had a nice little
He had some
blonde
blonde flow. And so did Benedict Cumberbatch.
Also,
he had some good flow.
Nice logo.
There's some good early 70s flow. But the main thing I loved about this movie, the cinematography blew me away. The score was really good.
It's the Hoytmeister.
But just the pacing of it, a lot slower than your average kind of spy, thriller kind of mystery.
Right.
And I liked how it was kind of a slow burn. And it wasn't an easy watch. It didn't beat you over the head with the clues.
That is the popular knock against it. A lot of the reviews
you
say
have to focus when you're watching it.
Too boring, quote unquote.
Yeah, but I liked it though because it made you think. You're like, okay, what is this scene? Is this is this a flashback? Is this a flash forward? What's going on? And then you start to piece things together.
Right. And
you start, the Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, where the name comes from is, the names given, sort of code names given to some of the characters, and basically trying to figure out, who is the double agent, who's been there for many years, is actually betraying, the Secret Service. And I love just trying to, work it out in my head, like, okay, who is the double agent? Because it could be a couple different characters at a certain point. 3/4 of the way into the movie, you're like, okay, seriously, I think it's this person, but it could be this person. I just loved how, it made you think. And I definitely really enjoyed it.
So can you touch on Gary Oldman's performance for us?
Definitely really good. I mean, he got nominated, right?
I only bring it up because he got nominated for Best Actor for this film. He infamously never has won an Academy Award.
Wow.
Travesty.
I mean, I don't know if he should have won for that role. I don't
think he should have won.
But I think it was a pretty good performance.
Definitely a well-deserved nomination.
I think he should have won by now.
But yeah,
at some
for sure.
point,
Yeah,
maybe not for this.
At least, yeah. A little understated his role. He wasn't over the top. It was very reserved. But
have you seen this, Tim? Just wondering.
Tim?
I love this movie.
Oh shit! Okay,
Yeah.
Let me back down.
Whoa.
I love this movie.
Okay.
I bought it on Blu-ray and I watched it twice within 2 days.
Wow.
Tinker Tailor Soldier
There's so
Spy.
much in it to unpack.
TTSS.
There is.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth a rewatch. I
And
kind of want to rewatch it now.
Oldman does a great job in it, but Hardy, this was at the... I found out about Tom Hardy a couple years before this, so I was really pumped when I found out he was going to be in this movie, and I was like, shit, yeah.
I'm doing the hipster
Adam's calling me
symbol.
nerd, little hipster, because I like Hardy
straightening my
before
imaginary
Dark Knight
glasses.
Rises.
Yeah, I like Hardy for
Hey, I like Tom
but
Hardy.
pulls in a great performance. He's not in it for very long. He's just a small part, but important story. His character's very, very subtle and deliberate, and it's great.
I just want to say I've been a fan of Tom Hardy since Star Trek Nemesis, so...
He is in that. I saw it in movie
Get on
theaters.
Okay.
Get on that
Oh.
level.
When you were our age?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna mention Tom Hardy kind of stole the scenes that he was in. Like he stole the screen. He held the screen when he was in it, and I loved his kind of story arc in that movie. I really like Mark Strong too in this.
Oh, I love him in everything. Other than he was even good in Green Lantern. Dare I say it?
He was one of the.
I mean,
if we do have to mention
weird.
Green Lantern in this
parts.
podcast, Mark Strong as Sinestro was not bad.
I feel weird now. Why did I bring up?
Yeah,
is this weird for you guys?
I don't like
I feel awkward. Well, I was gonna say Tom Hardy.
I feel like I have to go take a shower now.
Fun fact: people probably know this. He's obsessed with Gary Oldman. That's his idol.
Really,
it's like the reason he acts. So like he only took that movie to be in a movie with Gary Oldman.
That's awesome.
And he was also doing Dark Knight Rises at the same time as that movie with Gary Oldman.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
yeah, so 2011.
It's pretty amazing.
I didn't know that
for him.
Yeah, the rest of the cast, like John Hurt was, classic John Hurt.
John Hurt was in it.
He was great.
He was great in this.
Colin Firth was pretty good as well. He didn't blow me away, but he was pretty good.
He's always solid.
When I hear Colin Firth, I laugh because I just think of Tim's doppelganger. Like he could be Tim's dad.
True. And Toby Jones.
I mean, we are the same age, so.
Toby Jones was pretty good as well.
He could be your brother, I meant. Did I say that? He could be your twin.
Yeah, overall, I definitely recommend it for your viewers out there. If you guys want to watch a spy mystery thriller set in the 70s, a little bit slower burn, but definitely an intriguing film to watch.
Hit us with the reels, bud.
Yeah, we need
I'm
that
getting
reels.
there. This is definitely a heavy 4 out of 5 reels for me.
Rainey's doing a lap right now. He's so excited.
This is a great film. I definitely recommend it. So with that,
yeah, it's okay.
Let's move into our main review this week, and that is Mad Max Fury Road, which was released on May 15th of this year, but also was released on Blu-ray this week, which 2 of the podcast members actually went out and bought this week. So I got to get my copy, but
we're old school.
It was either buy Mad Max or pay for ticket to see The Transporter.
Ooh.
And
or Agent
we made
47.
the right choice on this one.
I think so. So let's get into it.
He thinks so.
Directed by George Miller, starring Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron, Nicholas Hoult, Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, and also Hugh Keys-Byrne as Immortan Joe. Now, basically, this movie is one long chase scene. Tom Hardy teams up with Charlize Theron's Imperator Furiosa to escape Immortan Joe, and they come back, and it's just a chase. Basically, that's all you really need to know. Let's get into it. What do we like about this movie? I mean, Tyler, we got to start with you, who saw it for the first time. I will mention for the viewers this week.
The only one of us that hadn't previously seen it, like in the theater before this week. And we should mention it is coming back in IMAX.
Yes,
if you haven't seen it, go see it.
You'll have a chance this
You'll
month.
have a chance.
Definitely.
Tyler.
Okay. So I'm going to jump in here and say that I had not heard of Mad Max until this movie came out.
Wow.
Thank you.
So this got you...
I was going to say, please give your history.
I'm giving a history of Mad Max. There was none. There ain't none. So
that's what George Miller would want.
I watched this 2 nights ago.
Okay.
And I gotta say,
here we go.
Ooh.
I loved it.
Oh,
I freaking loved it.
Valhalla! Witness!
For the listeners, I'm doing the V8 finger crossed symbol.
It was amazing. I went into this not knowing what I was getting myself into because I knew you guys are freaking diehard Mad Max Tom Hardy fans.
Yes.
So there was,
Correct.
I was so just like, if I hate this, do I have to lie? Am I going to get kicked off the podcast?
Yes,
am I going to make it to next week?
I'm like, they're going to kill me.
Is this a lie? Can we polygraph you to make sure? Because I will kick you off.
It's like what if I'm lying and they kill me on the podcast and they can't release it because it's evidence? I don't know. I wasn't sure how this podcast was going to go. But it was such a good movie. It was so well done. And as soon as I told Tim I was watching, he just told me how little of they used effects, but not as much as you'd think. It wasn't overly out there with the effects. It was so believable. It was just so well done.
I mean, we have to mention the action. I mean,
famously
famously, George Miller used a lot of practical effects in these chase scenes. Big explosions, like actual explosions, car chases, crazy jumps with the vehicles. And
in the originals? Well, obviously does that too.
In the originals, but to more of an extent in Fury Road.
Well, fun fact about the originals, one of the biggest Mad Max fans on Earth, Jake McCannell, previous guest host, shout out, let me in on a little secret. George Miller, when he did the first one, was actually a doctor. I think he was like in his 30s. Like
Dr. Miller?
I believe he quit his job or something, or took all the money he had made, like a year's salary, to finance the original on his own.
Okay.
And just employed like real bikers and whatnot, and went out to the desert and used like scrapped cars.
He used like his own car and stuff too for it.
Yeah, his own car?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go, yeah. That's insane.
That's pretty awesome.
So that's what my point is, like, that's how practical it was.
Yeah,
the first one was super like guerrilla. Like they weren't.
Yeah,
exactly. Like he didn't have filming permits for like a lot of it, so a lot of it was like they had to do it pretty quick and then
like one take and then get out of there.
Like for the people like stuntmen or pseudo whatever you want to call stuntmen that got injured, he was the one like
he was a doctor
attending to them because he was a doctor.
He was
and
the on-site.
Yeah.
Wow. I have seen some behind the scenes stuff though. Maybe not on the Blu-ray, but kind of how they did use a lot of special effects in it, like CG,
right?
Mostly to enhance the images and just there's shots where they did have the actual cars. Everything was practical.
Yeah.
But in the very background, they would composite different images of different
That's what Tim said,
parts of the desert. Just to bring it all together. So it was pretty. The way they used the CG, it was still pretty well done as well.
I think the key to good CG that we all want is they don't use it to add; they use it to remove.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the key. They used a lot of CG in this movie, but it was to remove harnesses and wire crews and like.
Charlize Theron's arm.
Charlize Theron's arm.
Lack thereof. Remove.
Yeah.
Certain cousins of mine get on me for saying I hate CGI. I'm not saying I hate
bad CGI.
I hate overuse of like adding things in, like Star Wars prequels with CGI. I'm okay with you like removing with CGI.
Let's add more monsters in the background walking by, stuff like that. It's totally pointless.
We can't afford to go and film in a forest. Let's just add a whole forest to the background.
Well, CGI's never hurt anything. Like I love when Han Solo steps on Jabba's tail and they got it in. Amazing.
That was a little snap at the Fantastic Four movie. You guys couldn't go and film in a freaking forest. Yeah. So we're just going to add a forest into it.
You making my miles look bad? I'll find you. I'll kill you, Trank.
Yeah. But yeah,
anyways.
The effects definitely kind of blew me away. And just the fact that, the plot of it is so simple. I know, Tim, you were saying earlier that the first half of this movie is basically a chase, and the second half is a race.
It's a race back. Yeah.
I mean, it's so simple, and I think that's what makes it so amazing as a movie. Is that the premise? There's just nothing to it.
Yeah.
It's just action packed from start to finish, and it just brings you right into that world right from the start.
Exactly. The world building in this movie is insane. Like so many action movies these days, like Transformers and stuff, spend a trilogy trying to set up like a world that like is just believable.
Exposition.
Exactly. This movie just like immediately launches you into it. You know that you get what's happening to Tom Hardy's character in the first 5 minutes. Like, oh, he's being used as a blood bag because he has good blood and organs, and this world is clearly devastated by disease,
lacking of
You just get you don't need to be explained on what every single thing is. Like Morton Joe is the big bad guy. Just because he looks like a big bad guy, you don't have to explain how he came into power and all this stuff.
You just know he's a tyrant right away.
Exactly. There's just so much.
I know, Adam, you wanted to mention the beginning, the title.
Yeah.
Great start to the movie.
Yeah, just the opening scene in general. First thing I thought when I sat down in the theater in the IMAX was Indiana Jones. I felt like this is my Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like this is my generation's Raiders. Just his getting captured by the cult and being brought into the underground area. Just when he's trying to get out and he's running and they're doing that just like the original trilogy, that speed up motion kind of blur thing. Yeah. and then he's, monkey bars on the sewer grate. And they all pull him down. I just got such an Indiana Jones vibe. And, it was just a blast. It reminded me of, 80s blockbusters, obviously, being George Miller. And then when that title card comes emblazoned across the screen in 3D, I might add.
Oh,
amazing 3D.
Fantastic.
Stunning.
The chrome Mad Max with the kind of brand Fury Road
blew my mind in 3D.
I've got the opening scene there, right where he's standing outside of his car,
chomping on the iguana.
Yeah, the iguana just goes and he just chumps on it. Right, that scene when he jumps into his car, it felt almost again Edgar Wright-ish. He
just threw his bag in.
Yeah,
and just
bag,
tossed
car,
stuff.
Boom, gone. Edgar Wright feel right. As soon as I saw, I was like,
the smash cuts.
Yes,
Boom, boom.
Loved it exactly. That was it.
I guess technically George Miller probably started that if he was doing that in the 70s.
No, did they use that? Like I said, I haven't seen the originals.
Did he do that in the originals? I don't think he did.
Have you guys seen all the originals?
No,
I have not.
You've seen any of them?
Scott has not.
You've seen any?
I've seen bits and parts of them, but I haven't seen any fully.
Adam has seen the original trilogy. Yes.
Timmy?
Okay.
I've seen all three. Yeah.
All three, okay.
First one's not very good. You can skip that.
So Tulsi hasn't heard of them? Is that right?
I don't know what we're talking about.
I have heard that Road Warrior.
Road Warrior is phenomenal.
That's number 2, right?
Yeah, I feel Road Warrior is the only one you need to see before seeing this.
Yeah.
If at all.
It's definitely the most related to this one. The third one's really offbeat with
Thunderdome.
Thunderdome's just weird.
I'll go on record. The first and third are both garbage.
Yeah.
I hate both.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Is
Road
Fury
Warrior
Road a
is
sequel
average.
to Road Warrior? Is that what
It's
I heard?
just another story of Max. These can be kind of slotted in. The first one is obviously the first one, but after that, these stories can pretty much be spliced in
Like an anthology.
wherever. Yeah.
The legend of.
I mean, the most
Mad
you
Max.
kind of get the same sense with the Man from No Name trilogy, because those kind of are individual stories, but that character finds a poncho in the first one, so that's obviously the first one. Same thing with this one, his jacket gets an arm ripped off, I think, in Road Warrior. In this jacket, he also has the arm missing still, so this one clearly takes place after Road Warrior, but it's not like a direct sequel or anything like that. It's just a story.
There could be another Mad Max
There could be a story between these
between.
two, right? Exactly.
Yeah, George Miller went on record saying he designed it to not have a specific canon.
Yeah.
He said
Well,
it
that's
was meant
why
to be
I was able to
enjoyed.
watch it, was because I knew that you guys told me it didn't directly connect to the previous 3. And so I thought they did a very good job of that, because there were some
That's
parts.
how it works, right?
Yeah, I saw some parts. I was like, okay, I guess that's a flashback to that, or that.
There were certain scenes, where you're like, okay, is that his daughter?
Exactly. Yeah.
I guess she died.
Yeah, but it wasn't so much that you're like, oh, well, I don't understand what's going on now.
It was done in a way where you're like, okay, I understand. Something in his past happened that's haunting him.
Yeah.
And I didn't need it to be explained.
No, that was
to me.
it. That was good.
Perfect.
That's what I was going to say. It's like, Scott, you mentioned earlier, nowadays all the blockbusters are so convoluted and so weighed down with the lazy
Trying to
having
pack
exposition.
in a backstory that's unnecessary.
Yeah,
Just
it's all exposition.
Yeah.
Assuming that the viewers are stupid and they can't
Yeah.
understand, just basic storytelling, not, verbal storytelling, visually.
But George Miller comes from the old school where you don't have to explain everything away and give exposition on every single plot detail and every single character's backstory. He knows people just want a hero to emerge and just watch an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, they don't even attempt a convoluted plot. It's just a streamlined kind of plot.
What happens.
And it's
which is beautiful. That's what I want in a blockbuster.
It's like in Fury Road, they mention, oh, we're going to Gastown. It's like, well, what's Gastown? They don't really mention it, very much.
Yeah.
And
they just
they're
kind of assume.
There's guys coming from the bullet farm, after us. And it's things like
Makes
that.
sense.
You're like, bullet farm. What's that all about? I love how they don't over-explain these things.
Yeah, but it's just easy to figure out. Gastown's obviously, they have a lot of gas there. Bullet Town, they have bullets. The place that they're running from is water. It's
the Citadel.
Visually, you can just see it. You don't
They're
have to
all-
be told. And it's
Yeah, if this wasn't George Miller, someone from the old school, if this was a new school director,
Mm-hmm.
they would have gone into Gastown and met
There would have been
1,000 people.
a narration of the backstory.
This
and-
is Gastown.
Definitely, it being George Miller who directed the original trilogy, and then him coming back to do that was a huge plus. Because it was a continuation of his own series, which was perfect.
I'd like to see that a bit more. People
hey, Ridley
rebooting.
Scott, take notes.
I mean, I know don't know if there's more stuff in the Blu-ray about the development hell of this movie.
Right.
It was originally supposed to come out in the early 2000s
with Mel Gibson still attached.
Yeah, and they had
like 2000.
He had like storyboards written, like drawn out for like years ago, and it passed through several phases and eventually got made.
Heath Ledger was cast after Mel Gibson dropped out.
Yeah,
really. Wow, that's intriguing.
And then he passed away, obviously, so it just was stuck in development hell.
To go along with the whole visual storytelling part, in the special features, which is great, there's like a couple of hours worth of special features.
Really?
One of it
Can't wait
mentions
to
that
watch.
they had the storyboard like drawn out before they had the script done.
Mm-hmm.
So they
I heard
had
that.
the movie
I
like
heard that.
visually what they wanted
Visually
to be
planned.
done, and then they would just. There's very little speaking in this movie.
I could see that. I could almost see them starting with the visuals and then just kind of filling in dialogue.
Like Miller mentioned how like he doesn't want people just talking for the heck of talking. If they're speaking, it's important.
I love that.
And that's why they're talking. Like this is a high octane race. Not people are just going to be having casual combos.
Do we want to do our reels and then get into spoilers?
Ooh.
Yeah, because I don't
we have
want to.
more on the...
I think we got a couple more things to talk about.
I just want to make sure.
I think we would be remiss.
How about you do what Mad Max doesn't and put on your brakes, bud?
Jesus.
Wow.
I didn't want to get into spoilers. I didn't want to. There's a couple of things I wanted to say, but
There's a couple things we got to mention first.
Okay.
And that is maybe the star of this movie. I don't know. Charlize Theron.
Okay, I said no spoilers, dude. That's it. Now, no one's going to see
Everyone
it.
knows she's in it. Now it's ruined.
Imperator Furiosa is her character. What do you guys think of her performance? Was she the star of this movie, or was Mad Max just a bystander, or how do you guys feel about Charlize Theron's
I
performance?
know how I feel on it.
I would say she's probably the star, and Mad Max is just kind of like the side character that
The witness
comes into her story,
Yeah.
right? Like the movie's basically about her,
I have
which
to
I
agree with
loved.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Really?
What's your thoughts on this, Adam?
Well, Mad Max is the first character we see in the movie.
Of course.
So that alone makes me feel that it's his movie.
Yeah.
Right? And he sets it up with that in his head monologue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just setting up, I don't know, that alone I feel sets up that it's his story.
That being said, he is along for her ride, though.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
I mean, it is a Mad Max movie. It is about him, but I feel like he is sort of a passenger, and we're kind of following along him, kind of in his journey through this post-apocalyptic wasteland. And she's a character that comes into the story, and we kind of see how she fits in the world as well. And she, I could definitely see there are talks of a Furiosa spin-off movie, and I could definitely see that. I feel like they work well in tandem, though, because I wouldn't say that she stole it from him.
No.
Well,
but
apparently they don't work so well in tandem.
Ooh,
if you believe
in
the
the
rumors.
movie they worked in tandem.
Yeah.
On the set there were.
Got to hear these rumors.
You don't know about this? Sorry, not rumors. Charlize Theron confirmed.
Got to hear
Confirmed
these
that
confirmed.
On set it was wasn't too well their relationship
Really?
on set.
I think
there was
the
some
quote
back and
was,
forth.
"We hated each other's effing guts."
Yeah.
Between her
Wow.
and Tom Hardy.
End quote. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
know Hardy also mentioned that he didn't enjoy filming it that much,
It was a rough.
but he's come back and apologized because they filmed it
Really?
in sequence, and he's like, with so much action going on, he's like, it's hard to keep track of what's happening. And he said that he was in the middle of the desert filming. He's like, I don't know how this movie's gonna like fucking turn out at all. And then he finally saw it. He's like,
It's amazing.
it's amazing.
okay, so the quote was pulled during the filming of the movie,
It's on special features, yeah.
and then he apologized after.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Because they did. Shoot
I wouldn't
this
know
film.
either.
Yeah.
What the hell? Stuck in South Africa somewhere?
Yeah.
They did shoot this film on location in
Kidding me?
Namibia,
Yeah.
in the Namibian desert, which is
That-
basically
where's that?
just north of South Africa, on the coast, on the western coast. There's just a massive desert there, and
And they were just driving like nonstop. Charlize Theron said for like how long? A month?
the
I don't
schedule
know.
was probably like just insane on their bodies, just probably beat them down pretty much. So I can understand, the relationship, every day going to work and just getting, beat over the head.
I think
with
she
action.
somewhat like sugarcoated it a little by saying like, but that was just the circumstances. Like, I'm sure he's an okay guy. Like, but if you're in a truck with someone in the desert for a month, you're gonna hate them.
Yeah.
I think that's what she said. Something along those lines.
I can understand.
Do you think that it would be so bad that they wouldn't actually want to do a sequel together again? Like they would like not agree to work together? Do you think it would be that bad?
I don't know if
Good question.
I don't know if Theron would even appear in a Mad Max sequel.
Yeah.
but maybe that's a spoiler discussion.
Yeah.
We'll save that.
I will say I really like Nicholas Hoult in this as Nux.
Yeah. He almost stole it from me.
He stole a lot of scenes for me.
He stole scenes for sure.
Yeah.
Didn't even recognize him until halfway through.
He was awesome.
Oh,
Yeah. No idea.
If I hadn't heard that he was in it going in, I probably wouldn't have recognized him.
I didn't even know his name. I didn't read who was in it before I saw it, so I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, I know that guy. I've seen him blue before. Yeah.
Beast, perhaps?
Have you seen him flesh colored? Other than I guess he
is not the Beast. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But he could probably use. He probably could have used some chapstick.
Yeah, it looked pretty bad.
Everyone in this movie could use a little
his lips kind of stole scenes for me.
How about when
totally
Tom Hardy
shredded.
is like face to face with Theron for the first time, and he just jacks the hose and just blasts his face in.
That's how you know how scarce water is, like in this world.
Tie into Young Ones.
There you go. Water is
Young
key.
Ones, exactly like Mad Max Fury Road, except Mad Max Fury Road's good.
Yeah.
It's the only difference.
It's a big difference.
I didn't mind Hugh Keys-Byrne, who was he in Road Warrior or the original Mad Max? Because I know
he's in the original Mad Max as Toe Cutter, I believe is his character name.
Gets his fingers cut off. Or no?
No.
By the Boomerang
That's
Kid? Is that Road Warrior?
Yeah. Who is this in the
Didn't
new
he
one?
also play that character? Or no? I think he's... No?
He's only in the first one.
Hugh Keys-Byrne plays Immortan Joe. Who is... witness that.
Yeah.
He was pretty good. He served his purpose in this movie. For
also,
sure.
He's terrifying.
Yeah.
Also, fun fact, he was signed on to be the Martian Manhunter in George Miller's Justice League film.
Really?
That was canceled. Yeah.
It seemed a little bit old for the role, but I mean, I guess that was a couple years ago. That was 10 years ago now, or
2004.
Okay, fair enough.
11 years ago, so he probably would have been like 40, maybe 50.
Okay, a George Miller favorite, I guess. Let's move. Let's.
He's great, by the way. I love him in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Immortan Joe.
Immortan Joe.
And
great villain.
His henchman, his big henchman, who I think.
Terrifying.
I'm trying to remember his name. Something Erectus.
One of his sons,
yeah,
right?
something like that, yeah.
No idea who he was. Scary as shit.
Yeah.
With a massive, minigun.
Yeah.
I had a brother.
I had a brother. Yeah.
He was perfect in every way.
He was pretty good.
Wait,
and,
we would be remiss not to talk about
the
best score of 2015.
Yes.
One of the best scores I've ever heard in my life.
Wow, rock out, man.
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know, folks.
But the score was pretty amazing. Junkie XL, who was the composer, who did the score for this movie. I don't know if you guys know Junkie XL.
Tie-in. I do know him because he's scoring Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice.
So he is.
George Miller. So many connections to Justice League.
A bunch of ties tying today.
Yeah, Junkie XL. I thought it was really strange when I found out he did it because I was actually a fan of his music, like his actual, straight up, studio releases.
He's like an electronic artist?
Yeah, a couple years ago, I came across him on iTunes, and it was just kind of strange that, wow, Junkie XL is doing Mad Max. But I really like, the themes, like when the musical themes in it, like when there was the more emotional scenes with Furiosa, that it had that same kind of more stringy kind of theme, and also the beating of the drums and the very it fit with the scenes. It was a perfect melding of score with action, in my opinion. While
we're talking about melding the score with the action, allow me to bring up my favorite character in the film.
Oof.
Blind guitar flamethrower man.
Doof Warrior.
Tell me he didn't steal the movie.
What was his purpose?
I'm sorry, what'd you say? Doof Warrior?
Doof Warrior, yeah.
Doof Warrior is my favorite character of all time.
Yeah.
Doof Warrior guitar guy.
When there's an army marching, I mean, they have a drummer, or you're beating to the drum of.
Of course,
let's attach a guy in a red jumpsuit with a guitar on.
They got a kid with a bugle
Tough
or
gig.
a little tambourine.
Well,
in this, you got to have a massive missile truck with a huge stereo system on it. A guy with a flamethrower guitar.
It felt like the post-apocalyptic opening to Rock Band.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it felt like.
That is true.
George Miller must love Rock Band.
Yeah.
Fun fact: George Miller said, "If you guys can't find me a guitar player who can really play while strapped to the hood of a transport truck, and build me a guitar that can't shoot flames, this guy's not going to be in the movie. So they found apparently the best guitar player on earth, who trained for 6 months blindfolded while playing on the hood of a transport truck with a flame-throwing guitar.
It was attached to bungee cords. That was the funniest thing ever. Let's
Fantastic
go, and it's
Four
still there.
CGI'd a forest. George Miller strapped a man to a truck.
Blinded him
And made him play a flamethrower.
That's pretty awesome.
Fuck you, Fox.
Practical effects for you.
Oh my God.
I think it's time to give our ratings before we jump into
it's time.
spoilers. Tyler, I gotta know your rating for Mad Max Fury Road.
You all ready?
Hit us.
I'm just gonna stretch for a second.
We're ready.
Ooh.
I'm giving it a huge 5-banger reels.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Right
Whoa.
there. Right?
Is that your first five banger?
Obviously not Kingsman, dude. Come on.
Scott, do you have any tissue? I'm crying.
Is this your first day?
I'm so proud.
I'm so proud.
Wow.
Love it.
I forgot about Kingsman.
So good. It was just so good.
Adam, let's move on to you.
5-banger.
Ooh.
Next.
Yeah, my turn. It's got to be a 5-banger, guys.
Oh.
Holy shit.
We could have our
It's gotta
third
be-
milestone of the series.
We really could.
Are
This
we gonna
could
have
be-
a clean sweep
Is
today,
this a
Tim?
full circle 5?
Tim.
Happy 3.
Oh my God!
No, you're off.
Don't do this.
You're off.
5 bangers
Yes!
on Mad Max Fury Road.
Universal acclaim
Probably the best movie I've seen this year.
from the Up Your Late podcast.
It's my favorite film of the year, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I should mention, came out today, actually. It was voted by the Film Critics Association the best movie of the year.
Wow.
So far.
It's still very early. I don't know why they're voting now, but
Well, early reviews.
I guess... Yeah.
Yeah, so let's just quickly move into some spoilers. Were there any scenes for you guys that you really
a couple
enjoyed?
come to mind.
Okay.
We got a couple too, yeah.
Yeah, I got it too.
Oh god, I'm going to blank on her name.
Rosie Huntington Whiteley.
Rosie Huntington Whiteley, a.k.a. Miss...
Favorite wife?
What's the guy's name? My mind is completely blank. British guy from Snatch. Come on, guys.
Ooh, Jason Statham?
Yes, aka Mrs. Jason Statham. She's married to him.
What?
So you guys are looking at
Which
me
one
like
was
I
this
have
guy?
4
Really?
fucking
Who was
names.
this girl?
Rosie
main
Huntington
wife?
Whiteley.
That means nothing to me.
The blonde.
She's from Transformers
Splendid.
3.
Splendid. The pregnant.
The pregnant one. Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay, she's, anyway, married to Jason Statham.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I was shocked at the balls they had to run her over.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Straight up murdered that bitch.
Yeah.
And then the
That was
following,
fucked.
basically abortion scene.
That was the second part of my point. Then the pulling out the dead baby. I can't believe no one was outraged by that.
I was pretty appalled when I first saw it. My mouth was wide open.
Yeah, I was like, people are going to walk out
But
of
there's
this movie.
there's no like articles
was
about
just
like, oh my god, outrage.
Well, you know, they did it very tastefully. They didn't actually show her. It's a really weird thing to say, but she didn't. They didn't actually show her getting run over.
I think they did.
I didn't see it.
she hit the
Her
ground.
body rolled.
I saw her hit the ground. And I saw him just go. Arr! And
I think meant the abortion scene
oh, the abortion scene was just freaking
could
weird.
not have been done any less tasteful.
No, it couldn't.
Well,
have.
to be fair, to agree with your point, they didn't actually show her mangled body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. He was holding her, and she was just kind of. They did.
Well, I guess it wasn't actually that mangled.
No, she wasn't mangled,
Yeah,
but-
no.
Because
I
he
stand
swerved.
corrected.
He didn't run her over.
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one scene that I really want to mention, and it's a scene that they didn't really show anything. And that's the scene during the nighttime when Mad Max is like, okay, give me this, give me the jug of gasoline.
I'll do
Give
it.
me some bullets, give me a gun. I'll handle this. He walks off into the distance, and all they see is just a massive explosion. And
Damn.
he walks back. He walks back to the group. He's got blood all over him. He's like, give me something to drink.
Freaking.
And they're like, you're bleeding. And he's like, Furiosa's like, no, that's not his blood. That's not.
Max Guyver just goes and just makes an explosion out of like
Max
to a jerry can and some twine and an elastic band.
I just love that scene. How it was everything you didn't see. That was so amazing.
Yeah, like
And
show some restraint, Miller.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Teach Michael
had-
Bay a thing or two.
There was
Yeah.
some balls there.
Yeah.
Because I
some
feel like
subtlety.
he could have just gone out and just done a crazy action sequence. But
Yeah.
I love that it was
And that's what the movie needed, like a little bit of pullback.
Yeah.
You know, it was great. It was perfect.
in that same scene, you get the brilliance of Tom Hardy, who can act with his eyes like no one else.
We haven't even
Was that
touched on
scene where
this.
like he's trying to snipe out the light, and the people behind him are like counting how many shots he has left, and he just gives like, this quick like look back. He's like, "I know I have 2 bullets, thanks." But he just does it with his eyes, and you know what he's thinking. It's
I can count Zoe Kravitz. Thank you.
Yeah, seriously.
His facial performance in this whole movie was incredible.
Yeah.
When he's strapped to the front of that vehicle with the mask
just
on
looks
his
pissed.
face,
You can just tell.
and he's like cringing in his eyes, and he's like,
He looks like a different person when he's strapped to
I
the
didn't
plane.
know that was him. Like
That's my car.
until he actually fell off and started strangling the guys in the car. I was like, "Is this even Tom Hardy?" It's like, it doesn't. It didn't
he
look
does
like
look
him.
different in every movie
Yeah.
and sound different.
They
in
need to
every
stop
movie.
putting shit on his face.
Yeah.
They really do.
I think he got a lot of flack kind of initially for this movie that he like doesn't talk at all. Like, what's he doing? Like, it's just, he's not saying anything. Like,
I heard the flag. Yeah, I remember. People
And I
were
was
saying,
like,
he was just grunting.
if you
the whole
actually
time.
saw it and you actually watched his performance, there's actually a lot going on.
Yeah.
under
the
the
subtlety in
surface.
his face, he communicates everything he
Says
knows.
more
I
than
don't know
words
if he,
do.
I don't know if he
Yeah.
gets the credit he deserves for that kind of the way he acts with his face. I
My
mean,
second favorite actor behind Leo.
yeah. Any of their scenes you guys want to mention at all?
One that
There's
stood
other
out,
bad
just shot wise, when he actually he's stumbling upon, he's carrying Nicholas Hoult behind him, dragging his lifeless body.
Right.
He goes and he finds Charlize Theron with all the other girls there, and just like that beautiful shot. 'Cause it's all just like just miserable, just desert, death, bleak, nothing, and you see Charlize Theron with these beautiful, stunning, just a contrast. These stunning girls there, and I was just like, I didn't expect that. Like, I didn't expect to see like these beautiful women there in this barren wasteland. It was just, I think that was just a gorgeous shot with the.
I agree.
Yeah,
And when she breaks down, falls in the sand.
Yeah.
That was an
on the
amazing
screen,
shot.
Yeah.
And the
beautiful.
score it really fit in with that as well. Like,
Yeah.
so well done.
made it a lot more emotional. I do want to say one last point, just about the main theme of this movie, which is basically survival. I love how
Right.
Max, just in this whole movie, everything he does is just to get through to the next day.
Yeah.
just to survive. Like when you just mentioned about how he was carrying Nicholas Hoult over
Yeah.
him, and earlier in that scene, he was just straight up like, I'm chained to this guy. I gotta just rip his arm off. I gotta do something. I gotta cut his hand off. I need to get away.
Grabs a shotgun. I was like, I'm just gonna blow his.
I'm just gonna
fucking
shoot
wrist
his
off.
hand right off. And like he started biting his hand. Like,
Yeah.
he was biting his hand. And go ahead, Adam.
That reminds me, the shot when they're heading into that dust storm. That's the shot of 2015. That was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Mid-air explosions.
That
His
wall
body's flying.
of
Dust.
sandstorm coming in, rolling in. Actually, yeah, I do have one minor gripe. I did have how that scene ends. That was my only nitpick of the movie. Tom Hardy gets like flipped over, like absolutely.
You
like,
assumed he was dead.
bone
like,
shattering.
destroyed.
He should have been a little bit more hurt than he was.
He should
Shake
have
it
been
off.
laid out somehow, but like he literally
Nicholas Hoult was laid out after that.
chained to a car. I think the car flips, then his body after it goes flipping and tumbling.
Just whipped. Like
Like
it's
clearly would have broken every bone in his body.
yeah.
Minor gripe. Other than that,
Also, sort of along the same point, how he's fighting for his survival. Whenever he got in like a fist fight, it was just pure brutality.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't
Yeah,
like a
nothing pretty, no
well
finesse.
choreographed fight. It was like just pounding on a guy's face, like stomping on his head.
like he's trying to kill you.
Yeah,
he's trying to
straight up.
stop you
Yeah.
from stopping him. Just literally pound you to death.
Exactly.
I feel like we would be. I gotta say one thing about this. I feel like we'd be amiss if I didn't at least tie into James Bond somehow in every episode.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
So-
no, that's you.
I didn't think of Tom Hardy as James Bond until I saw this movie.
Holy
Really?
shit!
I didn't.
really?
I thought about it. I couldn't see it. And then I saw this.
I did.
And seeing his, as Tim said earlier, with his eyes, I saw, as soon as I saw Tom Hardy's eyes, I saw Daniel Craig. He had the very similar blue and just like so much emotion in the eyes.
Right.
I gotta say, I could see him as James Bond now. My only problem is, I know Scott disagrees because we talked about this.
Not disagree. You're the only person who could tie in Mad Max with James Bond.
It's
You
a
gotta
skill.
tie it in
It's
somehow.
A skill. I gotta say, I think he's a little too much like Daniel Craig,
Okay.
like the Daniel Craig brute Bond. Because every James Bond has brought something new to the table. And if he was to be cast as James Bond, I feel like it would be too much like Casino Royale. Where he was just like a brute, just beating like it was
I do think
too much.
I think he's too like rough and tumble. He's not necessarily like
suave.
Yeah, he doesn't have the smoothness.
Well,
even his face is almost ugly.
We'll see when Legend comes out, because he's playing both a brute and a suave kind of.
Yeah, you're right.
Gangster.
That's going to be
Legend. I think is going to be a good kind.
Maybe
of,
that'll turn it for me, but I think
litmus
that
for the test for
it'd
this.
be like a continuation of Daniel Craig's character. Like I think it would be too similar. I think that'd be his one end.
Definitely interesting to see, because I know Tom Hardy has kind of vaulted up.
Yes, he's
a little bit more
ranks.
in the Vegas bookkeepers list for next Bond. But let's move on into some news topics real quick. We got a couple of trailers to talk about. First one is the Danish Girl trailer, starring Eddie Redmayne, our favorite Michael Keaton killer. Yes,
Jake McCannell.
Jake McCannell.
Fast forward, bud.
Sorry, bud. Also starring Alicia Vikander, Ben Whishaw, and Matthias Schoenaerts. Do you guys think this movie is Oscar bait? Do you think it's Oscar worthy? What do you guys think about this trailer?
Well, Tom Hooper directed it.
Right.
Directs Oscar bait movies.
Yes.
A la King's Speech and Les Mis. Both like solid movies, but they're definitely
aiming for
Oscars.
Yeah.
He's always swinging for the fences.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. I saw the trailer. I was expecting more of a difference between Eddie Redmayne's character when he's essentially the character is, I think it's like 1800s-ish, or is it even later than that?
I'd say late.
It's early 1900s, I believe.
Yeah, late 1800s, early 1900s.
He realizes that he doesn't feel like a male. He had advantage as a female. And I think he even gets the operations and stuff done. I don't know.
One of the earliest, I think, recorded case of gender reassignment surgery.
Exactly. So I was just thinking there'd be more of a difference in his performance between his male and female parts. But from what we can tell, it doesn't seem to be a big drastic difference. I think he's just like dressed up as a woman, essentially. But I don't know how far into the movie the trailer shows. Like we saw him dressed as a woman, but that might not be with the surgery already done. So I don't know how drastic he changes his performance, but it just seems like he's playing the same character straight through.
Yeah.
If you guys follow me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we'll see when the movie comes out if there's more of a character development, more of a transformation.
Yeah.
I really liked Alicia Vikander in this trailer.
She's great.
Yeah.
It looks like she's going to give a good performance. Yeah. Maybe Best Supporting Actress nom. I could see something like that. Eddie Redmayne, it does seem very Oscar baity.
He is the it guy right now.
Especially considering, the whole Caitlyn Jenner, situation that's happened this year. I mean, it's very topical, this movie.
Very much so, yeah.
So it could get some buzz because of, it's been in the news definitely, gender issues. So I definitely think it's possible that it could be, an Oscar-nominated flick, but
I'm just
possible.
I'm really
it
hoping
will be up for some Oscars, regardless.
It has to. I will bet you
obvious?
$20 that I have in my pocket.
Yeah. Well, it's too obvious, but that's what the Oscars do.
Oh man,
I'm just hoping he can do a better role than Jupiter Ascending. That's the last thing I've seen him in. I'm just please do better.
I haven't seen it. I don't know if I want to see it.
You don't.
But yeah, definitely be interesting to see, how this movie does come Oscar season. Definitely will be in the conversation.
I think the Oscars have been doing a decent job lately of trying to break away from like the typical Oscar bait. Like Birdman winning for me was a huge victory.
Yeah,
that's such an ambitious, different
out
movie
there
that like moms don't like, and like typical.
It's not
like,
a period like
dads
drama.
Don't like.
Yeah. But it's a movie like this that will take, again, like a huge Leo D fan. It's a movie like this that like, it doesn't matter how well Leo D does. It's a movie like this that will take away from those movies that you feel do deserve. Yeah. Even if it's like a subpar movie, it has that message behind it that they actually.
The Oscar loves their messages.
Exactly.
That's for sure. But let's move on to another trailer that came out. Concussion, starring Will Smith as a neuroscientist or a doctor who discovers, the repetitive head trauma that is actually a disease, and basically goes, fights against the NFL to basically prove that this is an issue and that they should compensate players for it. What do you guys think of this trailer? Do you think this could possibly be an Oscar nomination on Will Smith's mantle? What do you guys think about that?
I can see that.
I wasn't interested in this trailer at all. I was groaning when we had to watch it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh god, okay, let's watch this. I guess we have to talk about it. I much like the Danish Girl trailer. Mm-hmm. Which I don't. Did I make clear I don't give a shit about Danish Girl?
Yeah,
really?
no, yeah.
Yeah, I made that clear. Okay, good.
Don't care.
Yes, exactly. Hit it with the don't care one time. Then and then this trailer started, hooked me right away. I was like, what the hell is this?
Really?
This isn't generic Oscar bait bullshit. This is there might be something here.
Yeah.
I see my man Albert Brooks
Yeah.
in this puppy.
A little bit of a darker... Yeah.
I didn't notice Luke Wilson.
I heard he's actually playing Roger Goodell in this.
Oh my god, what?
Yeah. I heard that. I'm not sure if
Luke
that's true or
Wilson?
not. Luke Wilson.
Okay.
So that's
Pretend I
interesting.
didn't hear that. Big Willie was impressing me quite a bit with the old accent.
Man can act.
Yeah.
The man can act.
It's been a while. He's not cashing in on Men in Black. He's not doing too many blockbusters. He's getting back to acting with this flick. I love it.
Maybe he actually heard some criticisms, maybe stop,
I would hope.
casting your son in every movie and having all these crazy stipulations, that you have to be the star of the movie and all this stuff. Like,
He's still the star.
he is. But I know there was some talks about some previous movies about that. But
Am I missing someone other than Albert Brooks? I feel like I am. Was there anyone?
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin, that's what I
yes.
meant to say. He looked great in the trailer. I don't know. There's something here. Like, I'm going to have to see this flick now. December, right in the middle of Oscar season. Could Big Willie be up for just his second Oscar nomination?
it's possible. I hope it's a return to form. I hope
Head to head with Eddie Redmayne, let's be honest.
Yeah.
He's getting one for Danish Girl, whether
Yeah.
we like it or not.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
And I'm sure he'll be great in it.
Oh yeah, he'll do amazingly well.
But I don't want,
I hope
no
this.
Best Picture, please.
I hope this film doesn't, pull its punches though, because I did hear this week that, Sony was in conversation with the NFL about, the NFL didn't, like a couple things in the script that were a little bit too hard on the NFL.
Too true, probably?
Yeah, seriously.
In other words, too true, air quotes.
But also to counter that point, I did also hear that it could have been that in the movie they were thinking of, or not thinking, but they had some scenes that maybe were true, maybe not true, that they heard about, a conversation that may have happened. So in a situation like that, I can understand why the NFL...
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does the NFL have the authority to change things?
Well,
Are they producing this movie? I don't understand.
Or not. See, that's what I didn't understand. Why are they giving in?
To
But I think there's a possibility of legal action that could happen if
slander?
Yeah, not because they're telling the truth, but because if they say, there's a scene where it really sheds Roger Goodell in really bad light that actually never happened, and it really puts him in a bad position, and they're just, the only reason they used it was because they heard about it, through hearsay.
Right.
Then that I can understand them not wanting to put in.
Right.
But if it's actually truth, then I don't think they can't do anything about that.
Well, here's my problem with that. It's a movie, so you can just be like, well, it's a movie. It's not an exact retelling of what happened. So if it's not true, tough shit. It's for dramatic story.
How far does that hold up? That's the debate that I wonder.
We'll have to wait and see.
I mean, the NFL does own a day of the week, like they say in the trailer.
Well,
so
I mean, I think we can all agree the best...
NFL Tuesdays.
Oh, God.
Sunday.
Monster Truck Tuesday.
Monster Truck Tuesdays.
Let's keep on course here.
Sorry.
The best, true story, these biopic-y type films don't, either make someone a clear-cut hero or make anything a clear-cut villain. So I hope that it just tells you the facts and lets us decide, right?
Exactly.
I don't want them to villainize the NFL.
Just present the truth as it is and let us make our own opinions.
Yeah, that's all I ask. So
Exactly.
we'll see. But I think, like I said, I think Will Smith could have a nice comeback on his hands here.
I hope so.
This and Suicide Squad? Come on.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how this plays out. I just hope they don't pull their punches, and yeah, I'm hoping for a good film. Let's move on to another trailer, Beasts of No Nation, starring Idris Elba and some other unknown actors. What'd you guys like of this trailer? Adam, let's start with you. Thoughts on the Beasts of No Nation trailer?
Happy you did, Scott.
Yeah.
Happy.
I want to know your thoughts on this one.
Well, you can take my concussion response and put that on steroids because I was excited for this movie, but I was like, okay, we saw the teaser.
It was a teaser. It didn't show much.
Different.
You know,
I can't even speak. When this trailer started, I was like, holy Fukunaga. That's crazy. Look at that cinematography, though. When the kid's, trudging through the water in that, tunnel thing or whatever he's in.
The opening shot.
The opening shot. My mind was blown. And then Idris Elba leans in and he's delivering that dialogue with that perfect accent. Looks like he's...
Perfect.
Perfectly cast.
Yeah.
Hey, move over Will Smith and Eddie Redmayne. Idris might be getting in on the Oscar love here. I don't know.
Yeah, seriously.
Am I crazy?
No,
I don't know.
Not crazy at all.
So I was blown away by it, cinematography-wise. I love... Is it Fukunaga or Fukunawa? Do you guys know? The director, Cary Fukunaga?
I think it's Cary Fukunaga.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I love True Detective Season 1. Massive fan. Yeah. This guy's going to be a hell of a director.
This film, by the way, for the listeners, is the story of, child soldiers. I'm not sure if it's an unnamed country.
It's an unnamed country, yeah.
Unnamed country in Africa. There's a story of a child whose family, obviously, has been killed. He's been taken in as a, soldier, little young boy soldier, among others, and by this commander, military commander, played by Idris Elba. And it's interesting to see these kind of child soldier picks because I wonder if there's a little bit of Stockholm syndrome here, their family's killed, they're taken in as children, and it's interesting to see the dynamic because Idris Elba is clearly like a father. He becomes a father figure to these children, and that'll definitely be interesting to see how that plays out.
Well, that was my question with the trailer. It was I'm interested to see how it plays out because I don't know, who's the hero and who's the villain. Technically, Idris Elba's a villain.
Yeah.
He will be the bad guy for sure.
Oh, yeah, but they're painting him in a totally different way,
definitely.
Oh, yeah.
He seemed a little bit of an anti-hero. You kind of...
Yeah, I thought
he has an army
of
of child soldiers.
Yeah. No, but it does seem
but
a bit
it didn't...
gray.
They weren't villainizing him.
They weren't villainizing
He's taking
him.
these kids under his wing. If anything, they were making him look like the hero of the film.
Oh, yeah, they were. They were painting him in a totally different way.
So that's what I don't understand.
But,
who am I supposed to root for? I'm not rooting for this piece of shit sergeant who employs child soldiers.
I think that this actually was based on a memoir of a child soldier. I could be wrong about that, but I think I read that. So I think it's the child.
What I was thinking was it reminded me of Blood Diamond if Leo never showed up.
Yeah.
But that I wouldn't root for that. I'm rooting for Leo to kind of save this kid. Or Jimon Hunsu. I'm who am I rooting for in this? There is no Leo or Jimon Hunsu coming to save the day. I just have to root for the kid to turn on Idris Elba or something. And Idris Elba was so likable. I don't want to root against him.
I know.
I'm a little torn there, but it looked amazing.
I think that's kind of the point of the trailer is that they're trying to make you wonder, and which clearly is working.
Put me in the mindset of one of the children.
Yeah.
This is my mentor, but what he's making me do is evil type thing.
It's like film watching Stockholm Syndrome. You're watching it, you're like, I shouldn't like this guy because he's, employing, child soldiers.
Yeah.
But, somehow he's drawing me in. So it's kind of, that'll be interesting to see too,
That alone, yeah.
For sure. But yeah, so I think we're all definitely excited for Beasts of No Nation. Unfortunately, I will mention, we are going to TIFF this week.
Mm-hmm. Some of us are going to TIFF.
Some of us. Hey, Tim, you are going just a week after the rest of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, for the viewers, we are going to the Toronto International Film Festival, so keep your ears and your eyes open next week, because we're definitely going to have some scoops, inside scoops on some new movies that are coming out. Beasts of No Nation is coming out during TIFF. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get tickets, but who knows. And it's also coming out on Netflix on October 18th. That is the release date for Beasts of No Nation, so you can watch that on Netflix, or you can watch it in the theater on the same day. So that's pretty cool. First time that's really happened that Netflix has had a big release in the theaters that's been developed by Netflix. So that's pretty cool.
That is cool. It's a cool gimmick. I think we're all definitely going to be reviewing it, right? Obviously.
Most definitely. So stay tuned for that.
We all done with news?
Yeah,
if we are, Adam's got a story to tell.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of TIFF, I went to a little Toronto event myself yesterday, Toronto Fan Expo. And I met a little someone.
A little someone.
A little someone Tim's in love with. I'm in love with. Scott's in love with.
Yep.
Sweetie?
He scares the shit out of me, but I think he's an amazing actor.
Sweetie's scared.
Yeah.
But he has a crush.
I do a little bit.
Stockholm Syndrome.
It's a weird crush.
The official idol of our podcast, our official man crush,
yeah.
Mr. Mads Mikkelsen.
Yep.
Told him about Up Real Late. He seemed very impressed. He was laughing quite a bit. I told him he's the official man crush of the podcast. Mads, I hope you're listening, bud. He signed a photo. Keep it real.
Yeah.
He's
real
so cool.
He pretty much, through his eyes, told me he was going to tune in every week. I think it's confirmed.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Like,
clearly
how could he not? Like, yeah.
He had a woman with him. I think maybe it was his publicist.
Yeah.
She jotted some stuff down.
She thought it was hilarious because when I handed her the paper that I wrote "Keep It Real" on for him to sign my photo, she read it and went, "Oh, dear, it's spelled wrong."
Really?
And went to hand it back and I said, No, sweetie. Slide that over to Matt.
Real with two E's.
It's spelled right. I'm with Up Real Late. Investigative journalist Adam Franey. Perhaps you've heard of me.
Have you seen my lanyard? I have a lanyard.
Yeah. Our channel has like 1,500 views. I don't know.
Classic.
Who you think?
As if I needed another reason to hate Adam.
He's met Mads.
I had big plans to go to Fan Expo as well. Didn't pan out, but I had drawn a picture of the cover of Hannibal back when season 3 was premiering. I was like, I can get him to sign my hand-drawn picture that I drew of Hannibal. Didn't happen.
If you gave it to me, I would have slid it over his desk.
It wouldn't have been the same.
It wouldn't have.
No.
Well,
I'll meet him next year. He's probably going to be back when he's promoting Star Wars Rogue One. So
yeah, for sure.
Probably a little bit of a bigger crowd, after being in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I was pretty hyped when I saw that you met Mads. I mean, that's...
Well, yeah, like I was saying, his publicist woman or whoever may have been his mother, wife, I have no idea. She was an older woman.
You are a terrible person at judging how old people are.
I am.
Could have been his wife or his mother. I'm not sure.
50.
Daughter, sister, mother, I mean, I don't know.
No offense, Mads. She seemed like a lovely lady. She said, "Oh, you spelled it wrong." And I said, No, it's a play on words. She's like, "Oh, you're a fisherman."
No, she didn't.
I said, "That's cute." No, it's like a movie.
No, we work
reel.
in film, sweetheart.
Yeah, I'm like, it's like Mads. I'm like, I'm in the industry like Mads. I'm like, no, it's like a film reel. And she's like, oh,
Cute.
and she like looked at Mads and just like giggled. And then I get up there. He looks down, reads it. Okay, what's this? Adam, keep it real. And he looks up at me with those
piercing
mysterious
piercing
eyes.
eyes. I tell him, Mads, pleasure to meet you, my friend. I'm a massive fan. I have a podcast called Up Real Late. I have to tell my friends because they're going to lose it. You're like the man crush of the podcast.
You actually said man crush of the podcast?
Yes.
That's amazing.
And he's signing this picture of him. It's like a 8x10 glossy photo of him from Hannibal. He's signing it, and as he's signing, he goes, so what, is there a group of you that do this? And looks back up at me, and I go, yeah, 4 of us, actually. Like, we're just massive fans. We love Hannibal. We love everything you've been in The Hunt. And he's just kind of, like, smirking. Next thing out of his mouth, do you cook? And I paused and went, I'm sorry, Mads Mikkelsen? I'm sorry, Hannibal Lecter, do I what? Do you cook like pizza?
How did he know?
That's awesome, because we eat pizza every week.
Every Sunday, for those listeners that don't know, we eat pizza. And last Sunday, Scott cooked a pizza. So
Like you cook
I said,
pizza.
well, Mads Mikkelsen. Yes, the host, Scott, happened to cook a homemade pizza from scratch last episode. I don't know how you knew that.
He clearly missed. He was hinting towards us inviting him to come listen.
I think he wanted pizza.
Come on.
What have I
Adam.
done? Well, the next thing he said was when I told him, yeah, you know, the host cooked pizza last episode. He
We'd
went,
love to have you. All right.
this guy would like that. And he like tapped on the photo with his pen at him like Hannibal.
That's awesome.
And then he
This is the greatest story I've ever heard.
This is amazing.
And then he laughed and reached his hand out to shake my hand, shook his hand, said thank you very much. Please tune in. Walked away.
Did you say tune in?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so amazing.
I walked away crying, blubbering. Said I'll never watch the sand again.
That's the greatest moment of my
That's
life.
amazing.
So, boys,
Shout
I
out-
think Mads Mikkelsen's going to be on. That's all I'm saying. Maybe by episode 11.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mads Mikkelsen. That's
Shout out,
pretty,
dude.
pretty amazing.
We love you, man.
Yeah, definitely the man crush.
That's
so
Adam's
cool.
story of the week.
And with that, let's close out episode 10
Go out with a bang.
of the Up Real 8 podcast.
You can follow us on Twitter at UpRealLate. You can also email us any questions, concerns. If you want to hear more stories about Mads, email us at upreal8@gmail.com. And you can find myself on Letterboxd, UpRealTim, real with 2 E's for all of that.
Tyler.
We the Facebook page is up and going now. It's
Yes.
the
Round of applause for that.
thank,
boys. Come on.
thank you. It was much. It was
Round
much.
of applause.
It was much needed.
You know what that word means?
Yeah.
Round.
All of us. It's finally up and going. The Up Real Late podcast. Follow us on there as well. We'll have all the links posted to the YouTube channel as well. You can follow me on Twitter at Mogi6 MOGEY6. I'm also now on Letterboxd. Up Real Ty, real with 2 E's and Ty with an E.
Oh, like fishing?
Like fishing, like fishing.
Like fishing, right?
Right.
Okay.
No, sweetheart. Again, we deal with film.
Adam.
You guys can find me at Franey25, FRANEY25 on Twitter. Mads, retweet me, please. I'll be watching.
I'll be waiting.
And you can also find me at Letterboxd, Up Real Adam, like we said, real 2 E's.
And you can find me again, Scott, on Letterboxd at UpRealScott, and also on Twitter at S_Ellis71. So until next time, guys, keep it real.